It's time for sports with Coach Sunz, S&C coach to the stars. Obviously, we'll call you by your real name for starters. Sunesh Singh works with pretty much everyone that you see around on UFC from New Zealand. Some basketball stars, rugby stars. Man does it all. Sunz, how you doing?
Not bad, yourself.
Yeah, all right. For those who are watching maybe abroad or living down south in a hole or something in New Zealand, we're obviously going through lockdown number, what's this, 3? Yeah, number 3 in Auckland. So we got 3 days we were stuck inside. So figured it was easy to pin you down, and I knew you'd be at home. So
yeah, look, Auntie Jane told us to stay home, so I'm staying home.
I mean, for you, with working with all your athletes, like I know you're a real busy guy. Like you seem to be working with people all day, every day. Like, how does this sort of lockdown affect you? I mean, it's only 3 days at the moment. Like, does it change much for you?
It doesn't change too much, other than the fact that I can't really. I guess I've got a rank of sessions in terms of importance and athletes. So, for example, Israel and Kai, who fights in 3 weeks, I'm missing out on that one-on-one with my eye being there. It's I won't say it's it's a big issue because we're so far in that there's not much we're gonna get now. It's just ticking off, making sure everything's firing. So there's no issue there. It's just that's the only one I'm really, I guess, missing, where I can't physically see, but I can give them work to do in their home that will replicate similar sort of stuff, because it's very easy in regards to what we do this far into a camp.
Right. Since you mentioned those boys, we'll quickly hit off UFC 259, 3 weeks' time. Pretty much everyone outside of Israel's camp has been talking about, what the step up to 205 means, whether he's going to bulk, which we now know he's not. He's just going to do his thing and see what weight he comes in at. For you, being the strength and conditioning coach, how have you had to approach this fight differently, knowing that you've got a little bit more room in the weight class to work with?
Nothing changes, because we've done this before in kickboxing, the 100 kg weight division. No need to bulk. Not sure why. We can just get stronger, and every year we get stronger. It doesn't matter what class he's going to be fighting in. The idea is to always get stronger, and I guess more explosive, and that's really it. There's no need in terms of a science side of things to put on weight for this fight, basing it around the fighter's style. So Israel's style, he's very calculated, he's very precise, probably the most precise and highest probably fight IQ that I've seen. Someone that reads the fight play by play, and he's someone that doesn't rely on just what you see in the UFC or any sort of octagon. Doesn't matter the promotion, guys just going on brute force and just trying to rush in there, etc. That's not Israel. So we'll keep him fast, we'll keep him strong, and I think everyone gets a bit shook when they feel his grip, they feel that power he possesses, because the whole "you're too skinny, bro, you're too skinny." Okay, well, you feel that and you're gonna know how skinny he is, So yeah, it's just, I guess this is for us is another one that we've done before. It's the same thing. It's just we continue with our work. We don't change what we've been doing.
When you talk about obviously Israel's skill and fight IQ, it kind of poses a question, like with guys who move up in weight class and might not be staying there for long or whatever, but do bulk, like for you as an S&C coach, does that sort of signify maybe a slight, doubt in the fighter's skill set, that they need that advantage to level things out?
Yeah, I think they panic. People that move up in weight class panic quick. No disrespect to any coaches or anything, but I think they just need to just relax, breathe, and go, this is what your fighter does or your athlete does, and they're going up a class now, so let's just strengthen their strengths. So what was working for them in their weight class, continue working, just enhance it, add a little bit of spice to it, and you'll be fine. But I think that's the typical sort of notion they get. Oh, I've got to get big, I've got to get heavy. And then what happens to everything else when you just focus on that one thing? You start going backwards on what used to be your strength. You focus on this new thing that you need, but really, you don't need much. And if you think about it, like with the whole weight class, you cut and then you put your weight back on. So you're not too far off from the actual weight class. So why are you automatically now adding this extra weight and taxing your body in regards to efficiency and economy, So I think they just need to breathe a little bit. But hey, that's us down here in NZ. I think we know what we're doing.
Yeah. But I suppose different strokes for different folks, as they say. Yep. Obviously, you're working with Kai as well. He's got a big fight coming up, same card. Yep. I looked at that, the card for 259, and I was hoping, Kai might get a little bit of respect for the flyweight division, but no, first fight of the night, as always with the flyweights. I don't know, with them being early prelims, I kind of feel like, they're trying to sell the UFC Fight Pass, so maybe it is a little bit of respect there. But how's Kai looking? Obviously, he's bouncing back from a pretty tough loss, but hell of a fight as well.
Look, Kai is fine, and he realizes and understands that the sun rises tomorrow. Losing is part of sport, and if you haven't realized that coming into sport, then you're in big trouble. So he knows that, you could win, you can lose. When you lose, you take whatever you can from it and you move on. So he's fine. He knows what's up. And, he's just got his little baby 2 days ago. So I think the jokes are all coming through, like with, mutual friends of mine, and Kai's like, oh, he's got dad strength now. He's got dad strength. So I guess he fights for a little more. Now he has a little bit more meaning behind it. Not saying that he didn't, but it just adds that little extra that he's got a family. But yeah, he's in top shape. He's fit. He's strong. He's fast. He's on it. Like, just seeing some of his work this morning that he sent through his work for later this afternoon. So still getting it done, still keeping high standards. So nothing's changed with Kai.
When you're working with obviously top guys across different weight classes, like how do you set their plans? Is it very individualized? Do you have them doing sort of similar stuff together? Like how does all that side of things work?
So the thing that is altered between the guys is really the weight. The movements are the same sort of movements because as a coach, believe in it, but the movements are based on the athletes, so Kai and Israel. You understand their fight style, you understand what is needed within the octagon, and then I train those movements. So if one is stronger, they'll lift more. If one is not stronger, they'll lift accordingly to get stronger. So they're always sort of doing similar movements. Times there will be some adjustments, slight variations in movements, but generally the same, but we alter the weights. No one lifts, because you're lifting that, I got to lift that. That's just silly. I see a lot of people do that, and that's more ego lifting and being heroes in the gym, and that's when those guys have very short careers.
Right. And just on how you came to be, working with Israel and Kai, I know you've been working with them for a long time before they were, household names to everyone. Can you just tell us a little bit about where that relationship started?
Yeah, so, Israel was late 2013, so a long time ago, and we met through a mutual friend. So his friend, my friend, we used to play football, soccer for those that don't understand, just summer social football. So he'd come along and he watched, and we met there, and obviously we got along. And one of my sprinters, Abiola, who's in Dubai, is mutual friends with Israel. So we all sort of knew each other from the circle, and they had a guy that used to do their training at CKB before me at 2013. And then he left, I think, to go to Tauranga. And then I still remember the text from Israel. He goes, yo, I got good news. I think we could work together. Because I just opened a gym in 2013, the start of 2013 on the North Shore. And he knew it was all about performance and stuff. And I go, okay, that's cool. He said, okay, let me just check with my coach, Eugene. And just to let him know that you're not just sort of any trainer, like just random person. So you're this degree qualified sports scientist. So he went back and spoke to Eugene, and he comes back and he goes, done deal. I'll see you next week. So from there, we are here now. 2013, and the rest was history. You know, we've just been training, and like I say, he put on Abiola to me because he knew I was there. And then obviously Kai came back from Thailand, and he been seeing the work that's been happening with Israel. So he messaged and he goes, look, is there any chance that I can work with you? And we caught up at Tank, had a little chat with Kai, and that was what, late 2015, early 2016. Rest is history. Here we are now. So I think that's the story with every athlete. It's through some other athlete that they hear about, we catch up, and before you know it, 5-6 years are gone. So yeah, it's a trust and belief in each other, and we get along like family. And I think I say you have to be friends with me for us to work together. Like if we cannot be friends, then I can't work with you, purely because my social life is my athletes. When I'm not training them, we may also go and hang out and have dinners or whatever it is, but my phone is 24/7 open to my athletes, no matter what time of the day or early morning, midnight. If you've got an issue, you can call, and obviously if I hear it, I'll pick it up, I'll answer, and I'll talk. So that's my commitment to them, that I'm all in. As long as you all in and we can trust each other, we're good. And like I say, years just roll on by when there's that mutual respect and trust.
Have you ever had to turn an athlete away because they just didn't vibe with you?
I guess I wouldn't turn an athlete away. I just stop speaking to them.
Just ghost them?
I just leave you on scene. Purely because, like I said, I'm all in, and you got to understand what all in is. You can't live off the past. You can't see the future in the bright lights without even doing the work where there's no lights. You know, we work in the dark. You know, we work in the dark so we can shine. But if you're not going to do that, then I'm just going to next, because I literally got no time to waste. And it's no disrespect. It's just don't disrespect my time as well.
Speaking of, working in the dark so you can shine, how good was it for you just seeing how Israel and Kai have risen over the past couple of years in particular?
For me, massive. Like I'm always inspired by my athletes. I'm a fan of my athletes. And I don't think it's a problem as a coach to be a fan of your athletes. You know, if you're not a fan, then, and this is my opinion, if you're not a fan, then what you're doing? You know, you should be hyping them up all the time, have their back. And I say, my job is S&C first. And then my first job outside S&C is to protect my athletes. And then I hype them up because I'm a fan as well. And I'm 100% inspired by what they do because I know the whole sports scene. Israel, for example, he's been the exact same person when I met him. You know, and a lot of people that know him understand that's his energy. You know, he loves the dance. He loves having fun. And a lot of people nowadays go, it's a put on. It's just one camera was capturing it all those years ago. Now you've got 100 cameras capturing it. So your population increases in terms of number of people see it. So you just never seen it. And I posted, I think, on my Instagram story, Knees of Fury in Australia, 2015, when he came out on Valentine's Day and he was busy dancing to himself. And, people would have seen that and be like, here we go, a showy fighter. But he's been doing that since ages ago. So that's for me is so inspiring that he kept true to himself, kept true to his beliefs, the person he is and the person he always wanted to be. He hasn't changed no matter the organization and how big the organization is. And one of the All Whites players, Nikko Boxall, messaged me the other day after the Usman fight. And it goes, man, it's so inspiring to see Israel at the heights he is now, knowing that's what he was always like, and he kept his foot on the pedal. And these are your other countries' national athletes messaging you. And I know, props to Nikko Boxall and Michael Boxall, the brothers. When they see these guys train, because I often train them together, they are like, there's that respect of, I understand how huge you are, not in New Zealand, just in a global state. And I think we forget how big these two boys are, especially understanding mixed martial arts and around the world, its audience. And we have them here in Auckland, in our backyard, and I think we abuse them a little bit. We take them for granted, and I'm not saying, we got to roll out a red carpet every time, because they're not that type of people. But what I'm saying is we need to acknowledge that we have great athletes right here repping us. Whether you like them or not, they always repping us. So very, very inspiring that those two boys just keep the foot down on the pedal and just keep pushing. So it makes me want to be like, God damn, if they're pushing, I better keep pushing to match that energy.
When you talk about training, obviously the Boxall brothers are football players. When you talk about training cross code athletes together, like, what's the competition like there? Are they quite competitive with one another?
Yeah, look, if the movements are similar, 100%. Athletes cannot back down from a competition. And if you see in the Boxall brothers, they're no joke. They are no joke. Those boys are athletic and strong, you name it. Like I said it when I went on a podcast, they're like Michael Boxall and, Nikko Boxall is not far off in terms of strength. It was the one camp, though. It was many years ago with like Quade and Sonny and stuff. And Michael Boxall was out squatting everybody, so don't look at footballers and think, oh, they're weak. So these boys are just really strong. And, when you do explosive jumping and stuff, there's always the competition, strength with Kai, because Kai is very strong, so that's that element there. And then you could see like one athlete is doing a standing long jump from the corner of the eye, the other one is looking, okay, I'm gonna see where he lands just so I can try and get it. So I love that competitive energy, but there's also that respect in the group.
Do they ever drag you into it and try and get you doing some of the workouts with them?
Oh, Michael Boxall called me out like 2 weeks ago. How dare you, Michael? If you're watching, how dare you call me out? So we're doing so normally, there's box jumps, but I go we jump over the boxes, not on it. It requires a lot more from you. And we were giving Kai shit because we got a good banter in the group and stuff. And then Michael Boxall turns around and goes, I'm waiting to see you do it. I'm like, which part of the coach and the athlete did you not realize this is? Do as I say, not as I do. So he quickly put me under the bus there. But so I might have to secretly film one just so I don't catch all the fails. And I'm going to send it directly to Michael when I do it. Just to show him that the old man got a little bit of something about him. But nah, it's good.
And you mentioned Sonny and Quade before. Get on to just some of the other athletes you've worked with, because there is quite a long list, and I don't know if people will realize just the extent of athletes you've worked with. So Sonny Bill Williams, Quade Cooper, Tom Abercrombie, Jodie Taylor of the English women's football team. I mean, it's a pretty good list. Can you just talk about some of them?
Yeah, look at that 1 year, that one summer camp, the off season or prep to preseason with Sonny, Quade, Tiara Fai, and a few of the other football girls, and then track athletes as well. That was probably one of the best camps ever, purely because the energy, everyone was on the same level. Come in to work, go. End of story. Nobody used status or anything within the group. Very respectful group. And you just wanted to be there. You get up excited, wanting to go to those sessions because those athletes you knew turning up to really work hard, no excuses, just got on with it. And it shows in their game. It shows in their life, because when you're such a professional athlete, and I think this is why like Sonny Bill, Quade, Abercrombie, all these boys are like pro athletes for so long, because of their attitudes, their discipline, their dedication, their consistency with these. So it just made my job so much more easier, turning up to people that actually want to get better and actually learn off each other. So there's always learning going on between a group or between codes. And I learn in terms of interpersonal skills. I learn how my job is to read individuals because I know science. I know it. I'm not saying it stops there. I'm continually learning, but I understand on individuals how they apply the science. And I'm like, oh, okay, they didn't understand what I'm trying to say. So I need different language to that athlete, but always willing to learn. And I loved it. It was proper enjoyable to be part of.
Who's the most athletic athlete you've ever got to work with?
Oh, there's not one. That's the problem. Because when you're working with the elitists, right? Everyone's so close. So it's not like I'm bringing in a sub-elite. A sub-elite, you'll know. You'll 100% know the difference. Even an amateur, you'd know the difference of an elite. But with an elite, it's that 0.1% difference. That's so minute. Only people like myself will understand, and themselves will understand it. But what's impressive for me, so if you take people like Israel Adesanya, Tom Abercrombie, and Sonny Bill Williams, they are not short boys. They are tall. They are tall, large human beings. So when you understand biomechanics and the difficulty or degree of difficulty in moving those limbs and watch them move with ease and fluidity, for me, it's like, yeah, because I get excited by science. So when I'm seeing it all unfold with your instructions, I just love it. Like, they're sprinting like 5'10" athletes, but they're 6'5" and 6'7" athletes. And so for me, when I see them put these movements together in such fluid manner, it's so hard to separate. And then you've got everyone else that are exactly the same. But, like I say, I'll always go to the Boxall brothers. Boys are animals. Abiola, who's in Dubai, animal. He's a freak. He is just a freak. The boy has hang time in anything powerful he does. So for me, it's very hard to separate, but yeah, there's those little elements.
I know you work across most sports. Is there any sport that you haven't been able to tap into yet that you'd like to, or is there one in particular athlete that you'd like to work with in New Zealand?
Ooh, I've never had that question before. Wow. Now you got me thinking. I can't even think of an athlete now that it'll come to me later on. But sport-wise, I've done most team sport around. I've done individual sports. Oh, this is tough. I can't think of an athlete right now, to be honest with you. But maybe something on the water. I don't know. Maybe something on the water. Maybe swimmers. I don't swim, but my S&C will do the job. I just think again, codes don't bother me. It's just me and my ability to break down movements and analyze what needs to be worked on, and then we get improvements there. So yeah, I can't actually put my finger on one athlete or one sport because I've most likely covered everything, even fencing at school level. So so Mount Albert Grammar, the fencing I used to train as well. So yeah, there you go. Haven't done lawn bowls.
Hey, my dad plays lawn bowls. Maybe I'll put you in touch. All good, man. And I guess just finally, this is sort of just something I meant to ask earlier, but slipped my mind. You've recently been working with some of the New Zealand Sevens women's players. You've worked with 15s quite often in the past. Like, what's the main difference between training for 15s and sevens?
Fitness.
Yeah.
Very fit. Because I know we both understand what sevens is, and we don't understand 15s and the rules of the game, but you see it in the ability to do repeated movements. The volume that they can do repeated movements and high sort of power output movements, rep after rep after rep, is truly impressive. And those sevens girls, oh, I love working with them. Like, it was like one of the most enjoyable sessions because they come with so much energy and they come with so much of laughter as well. But then the work rate is so high. And probably this is why where they are, with what they do, because of the same things I talk about: discipline, dedication. They never miss a session, always there, and they're just willing to learn. Always open books, So I really, really enjoyed those sevens girls and the energy they bring. And we'll work with them anytime. Probably sevens. Now that you put it, yeah, sevens. Come at me. I'm ready to work.
Great, bro. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time. If anyone watching wants to see more of what Coach Sunz does with his athletes, the man's always posting on Instagram, so we'll drop those links down in the description. Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And yeah, hopefully this will spark something for somebody.